The sheets tangled beneath our bodies like secrets. My fingers clawed at his broad back as his lips found mine again. Soft at first, then rougher, more desperate. The air was thick with sweat, breath, and all the things we never dared say. Every thrust sent a message deeper than any apology ever could. My thighs trembled around his waist as he held me down gently but with purpose, like he had something to prove, something only I could help him find. He moaned my name, not whispered it, moaned it, like he needed me, not just my body, but my being. My toes curled, my heart raced. And for one fleeting moment, I didn't feel like a wife. I felt like a woman again, desired, wanted, seen. But the man who was making me feel all of this wasn't my husband. And that, right there, was the problem. Hey, Vault Seekers! If that opening pulled you in, hit like right now to keep the vault growing. Are you new here? Subscribe to Top Stories Vault for mind blowing fiction that dives deep into real emotions and forbidden passions. Drop a comment below if you've ever kept a secret that could break everything. We're not just telling stories, we're building a vault of truth, pain, and passion. Now, let's go deeper into this story. I'm the one who cheated, I'm the one who crossed the line, and yet, I'm the one who loved the deepest. My name is Alyssa Monroe. I'm 29. I have silky brown hair that falls past my shoulders, green eyes that always made people pause, and a smile I haven't truly met in over 2 years. I work in a boutique downtown. Lace, leather, and little things people buy to feel better about their bodies. I used to believe in love, in loyalty, in forever. But love stopped showing up at my door a long time ago. My husband, Derek Monroe, is 33. He's tall, with soft brown skin, a chiseled jawline, and strong arms that used to wrap around me like home. He's a fireman, the kind of man other women look at and whisper, "Lucky girl." And once I was. Once I used to run into his arms like it was my safe place. Now I come home, and he's already asleep, exhausted, distant, carrying the weight of a world I'm not part of anymore. We don't talk much. We just exist next to each other. Two bodies, one bed, no warmth. Sometimes I lie awake watching his back, wondering if he even notices how cold I've become inside, if he remembers the girl he married, the girl who gave up a scholarship just to stay close to him, the girl who believed in building a life from scratch, even if it meant watching others live dreams while I just survived. I still wear my wedding ring, out of habit, not out of hope. Then came Ryan. He was 31, a new client at the boutique. Clean cut, caramel skin, light hazel eyes with a hint of trouble, and a voice that slid through me like silk. He bought lingerie. For a girlfriend, he said, but the way his eyes undressed me told another story. He kept coming back, not always to buy, sometimes just to talk, to laugh, to see me. And I let him. God help me, I let him. We talked for weeks. I told myself it was nothing, just conversation, just attention, just being human. Until the day I caught myself choosing lip gloss before work. Until the day I started hiding my smile when Derek came home. Until the day Ryan touched my hand and I didn't pull away. That was the beginning of the end. It's easy to judge a woman who cheats. It's harder to understand a woman who's been emotionally starving. Derek wasn't cruel. He wasn't abusive. He was just gone. Present in body, absent in soul. And me, I was a woman drowning silently in routine. And Ryan, he was the hand that reached in, the mouth that whispered, "You still matter," the touch that betrayed everything I promised. I remember the first night it happened. Not the sex, we're not there yet. The kiss. It was raining. I forgot my umbrella at the shop. He offered a ride. I laughed it off. He insisted. He drove me home. We didn't say much, but right before I stepped out, he leaned in. Not fast, not forceful, just close. "I think about you," he said, "more than I should." I felt my pulse climb up my throat. I didn't stop him when his lips touched mine. I didn't pull away when our tongues found each other. I didn't speak when the rain outside started sounding like applause. When I stepped out of his car, I didn't run inside. I stood there, soaked, shaking, changed. I lied to myself that night, told myself it was just a kiss, that I still had control. But the truth? It wasn't just a kiss, it was a warning, and I ignored it. That night, Derek came home and kissed me like he always did, half asleep, half aware, half hearted. He didn't smell my guilt. He didn't feel my distance. He didn't notice me turn away because he wasn't looking anymore. And that hurt more than anything. I wanted to scream, to cry, to tell him, please fight for me. But I stayed quiet. I always stayed quiet until Ryan gave me a reason not to. I woke up before Derek did, again. He was lying on his side, mouth slightly open, the same way he always slept after a long shift. The sunrise painted a golden line across his back, highlighting the smoothness of his skin, the rise and fall of his breath. There was a time I would have kissed that back, slid my arms around his waist, whispered, I love you, before his alarm even rang. But now, I just stared at it like a stranger, like someone who didn't belong in that bed anymore. I got up, moved quietly to the bathroom, and stared at myself in the mirror. My hair was a mess. My eyes were puffy, but something about my reflection looked more alive. That kiss with Ryan had stirred something in me, something dangerous, something I had buried beneath years of routine, responsibility, and silence. I didn't tell my best friend, Janelle. She wouldn't understand. She's the kind of wife who makes her man's plate before hers, prays every night, and says, marriage is hard, but you fight through it. But what if you're the only one fighting? Derek hadn't touched me in weeks, maybe even months, unless I initiated it. And even then, it felt like a chore, like we were checking off a box just to say we did. I started dressing better for work, tighter skirts, a bit more makeup, nothing loud, just enough to feel seen. And I saw how Ryan noticed every single time. He'd compliment me in that soft, confident tone. Damn, Alyssa, do you ever not look good? I'd laugh it off, pretend it didn't affect me, but it did. One afternoon, I stayed late at the boutique, inventory night. Everyone else had left. Ryan texted, you still there? I shouldn't have replied, but I did. Yeah, almost done. Want company? 10 minutes later, he walked in with 2 smoothies and that crooked smile that made it hard to think straight. We sat on the floor surrounded by boxes of lace and labels. You ever think about running away? He asked. What? I laughed. Where would I even go? Anywhere. Somewhere they don't know your name. His eyes searched mine. I looked away. You okay? He asked. I'm married, I whispered, like I was reminding myself. He nodded slowly. That wasn't the question. I should have changed the subject, but I didn't. Sometimes I feel like I disappeared, I said. Like the girl I used to be. She died in this marriage, and I'm just wearing her skin. He leaned in closer. Then let me help you find her. I didn't kiss him that night, but I wanted to. Every part of me screamed for it. Instead, I stood up and pretended like the air between us wasn't thick with everything we weren't saying. When I got home, Derek was on the couch watching TV, eating takeout. Hey, he said. Hey, late night? Inventory. He nodded, didn't look up, just kept chewing. I went to the bedroom, undressed slowly, and sat on the edge of the bed. I needed him to notice me, to reach for me, to see me. He didn't. So I turned off the lights and cried into the pillow he never touched anymore. The next morning, I made breakfast. Bacon, eggs, toast, his favorite. He walked into the kitchen, grabbed a piece of bacon, and kissed me on the forehead like he was punching a clock. Thanks, babe. And just like that, it felt like I didn't exist again. I watched him leave, and something broke in me, quietly but deeply. That was the day I stopped trying to fix us. Later that week, Ryan came by again. This time, he wasn't alone. He brought his niece, adorable little girl with curly hair and a pink tutu. Said he was babysitting. I wanted her to meet the prettiest woman I know, he said. That smile again. That dangerous smile. She's beautiful, I said, touching the little girl's hand. She gets it from her aunt, he joked. I don't have kids yet. He looked at me like he was imagining a future, a different life, a version of me that didn't belong to someone else. And for the first time, I imagined it too. That night, Derek fell asleep before I could even kiss him. I lay beside him, staring at the ceiling, feeling a kind of loneliness that could eat a person alive. My phone buzzed under the blanket. Ryan. Can't sleep. You? Same. Wish you were here. I closed my eyes, typed slowly. Me too. It's not like I planned to cheat. People think it happens suddenly like a light switch. But no. Infidelity is a drip, a slow leak. One compliment, one touch, one unmet need, one lie to yourself, then another. And then you're drowning in it. Derek wasn't evil. He was just gone. And I had waited too long to be seen. So when someone finally saw me, I didn't run. I let the light in, even if it came from the wrong flame. Ryan invited me over, said it was just to talk, said he made dinner, said he needed company, that he felt off lately. And I said yes, even though I knew exactly what I was walking into. He lived in a downtown loft, one of those open spaces with exposed brick, floor to ceiling windows, and that faint smell of cologne mixed with ambition. The moment I stepped in, I felt it. That tension, that unsaid truth between us. He greeted me at the door with a slow smile and a casual hug, one hand on my lower back that lingered a little too long. You look, wow, he said. I wore jeans and a white blouse. Nothing fancy, but the way he looked at me made me feel like I was standing there in red silk. We sat at the kitchen island eating salmon and risotto, drinking wine, laughing about things we didn't share with anyone else. The food didn't matter. The wine didn't matter. It was him, the way he listened, the way he leaned in when I spoke, the way he made me feel like I was the only thing in the room that mattered. We moved to the couch. The music was soft in the background, something acoustic, something tender. And then there was silence. He turned to me and asked in a whisper, "Why do you let him treat you like you don't matter?" I didn't answer, because if I opened my mouth, I would cry. Instead, I looked away, and that's when he touched me, his fingertips gently turning my chin back toward him. His eyes searched mine, and for the first time in years, someone saw all of me, not just the body, but the woman, the soul. And he kissed me. It wasn't hungry, not at first. It was slow, careful, like he wanted to give me a chance to pull away, but I didn't. I leaned in, I deepened it, and the second our lips danced into something deeper, every wall I had crumbled. We moved to the bedroom without saying a word. Just hands, just eyes, just unspoken confessions. His touch was gentle but certain, like he had waited years to touch me like this. He undressed me slowly, reverently. I felt beautiful, worshipped, desired. We didn't rush. He explored me like I was a language he was learning for the first time, with patience, with purpose. There were moments when I forgot my name, forgot I had a ring on my finger, forgot the sound of Derek's silence and the weight of guilt pressing against my ribs. When Ryan held me, nothing else existed. And in those moments, I wasn't a wife. I was a woman, alive, awake, wanted. Afterward, we lay tangled in the sheets, his hand on my waist, my head on his chest. The rain had started to tap against the window like a slow drum roll for my shame. "I'm sorry," I whispered. He didn't answer. He just pulled me closer. Dear Vault Seekers, before I continue this chapter, I want to pause and speak to you directly. If you're still reading, if you're still watching, It means the story touched something real in you. Maybe you've loved someone who stopped seeing you. Maybe you've been the one who drifted or the one left behind. Whatever brought you here, I'm grateful you're a part of this. We are Top Stories Vault, and you are a vault seeker because you don't come here for fluff. You come here for truth, for pain, for love, for the raw mess of being human. So if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. Hit that bell. Join our community because every week we open up another locked door. And tonight, you're holding the key. Subscribe now. Drop a comment if this chapter shook something in you. Share this with someone who needs to hear this story. Now, back to it. The next morning, I didn't go home right away. I sat on Ryan's balcony with a cup of coffee, wearing his shirt, watching the city wake up. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel invisible. But guilt is a tricky thing. It doesn't always show up like thunder. Sometimes it whispers, sometimes it waits. Sometimes it wraps itself in the comfort you've longed for, then strikes when you least expect it. When I finally walked into our apartment, Derek was sitting at the table with breakfast. He looked up, surprised. "You were out early," he said. "I went for a walk," I replied. He nodded. "You okay?" I stared at him. This man I used to love with everything in me, and I lied to his face. "Yeah, just needed air." He smiled. "I made you coffee." I nodded, sat down, pretended nothing had changed, but something had. Me. I texted Ryan that night. "We shouldn't have." He replied, "I know, but I don't regret it. Neither did I." But that didn't make it right. You'd think cheating feels dirty, shameful, and it does, eventually. But in the beginning, it feels like freedom, like a breath you didn't know you were holding finally being released. And that's the most dangerous part of it. You don't fall because you're reckless. You fall because it feels like relief. Cheating doesn't break you all at once. It starts with hairline fractures, tiny, almost invisible cracks in your reflection that you think you can hide from, until one day you look at yourself and don't recognize who's staring back. That morning after Ryan and I crossed the line, I woke up different. I still cooked for Derek. I still kissed our daughter Lily goodbye as she skipped off to school. I still smiled at the neighbors when they waved. But underneath the skin of my everyday life, I was unraveling. Ryan texted less. I told him not to. I said we needed space. He agreed. But that didn't stop the ache that bloomed in my chest every time my phone didn't light up. I missed the way he touched me, the way he made me feel. I missed the version of me that existed in his eyes, the one who was bold, beautiful, alive. One Sunday, Derek and I went to church. A rare thing these days. The sermon was about faithfulness, not just in marriage, but in presence, in honesty, in love. I remember gripping the edge of the pew so hard my knuckles turned white. I kept thinking the pastor could see it on me, that everyone could. My lie, my sin, my betrayal. Derek leaned in during the prayer and whispered, "You okay?" I nodded, but I wasn't. I wanted to scream. I wanted to confess. But shame is a master silencer. It chokes you gently until you forget the sound of your own truth. Later that night, while folding laundry, Derek said something strange. "You seem lighter lately." I froze. "What do you mean?" "I don't know," he shrugged. "You just smile more. You laugh more. It's nice to see you happy again." Happy? My heart dropped. I wasn't happy. I was haunted. But it made sense now. To him, my guilt looked like joy. Isn't that sick? The better I faked it, the more I became the version of a wife he thought he wanted. And the worst part? I wanted to be her again. The sex between us got better, not because of love, but because of guilt. I started touching him more, whispering things, pulling him into me like I was trying to erase something, and he welcomed it. He thought we were reconnecting. But in truth, I was covering tracks. I let him make love to me, even when my mind wandered back to Ryan. His scent, his hands, his mouth on my neck. And after each time, I'd cry in the shower where Derek couldn't hear. Ryan and I didn't speak for weeks, but silence has a way of turning into noise. Every time Derek held my hand, every time Lily drew us in crayon and called it my happy family, every time I looked at our wedding photo by the staircase, my silence screamed. One afternoon, I ran into Ryan at the pharmacy. I didn't plan it, I didn't expect it, but there he was, in line, holding cough syrup, dressed in a fitted navy shirt and black jeans. Clean shaven, soft eyes, our eyes locked. He smiled. I froze. Hey, he said softly, stepping closer. Hi. We stared at each other for a beat too long. Then he said it. You look beautiful. I almost cried right there, between the shampoo aisle and the vitamins. I shouldn't be here, I whispered. You're not doing anything wrong, he said. But we both knew that wasn't true. I didn't go home right away. We sat in his car, parked 2 streets over, didn't kiss, didn't touch, just talked about nothing and everything. He said he missed me, said he hated the space but respected it, said I deserved more than pretending to be okay. And when he said that, I lost it. I sobbed, ugly and full. He just held my hand the whole time, never let go. That night, I didn't sleep. I watched Derek as he lay next to me, peaceful and unaware. This man who paid our bills, loved our daughter, worked himself to the bone, and still kissed my forehead every night before bed, even if we had fought. And here I was, in love with another man. I didn't want to be, but I was. And I didn't know how to stop. The next morning, while packing Lily's lunch, she looked up at me and said, Mommy, are you sad? I blinked. What? You look like you're smiling, but your eyes aren't. Children see more than we give them credit for. I forced a laugh. No, baby, I'm just tired. She tilted her head. You should sleep more and maybe hug Daddy like you used to. That broke me because she noticed, even if he didn't, the shift, the distance, the missing pieces. Later that night, I texted Ryan, I can't do this anymore. He replied, Do what? Lie, pretend, hide. A pause. Then, then let's stop hiding. Ryan didn't even knock. He used the spare key I gave him 6 months ago, back when he used to dog sit for us when we went out of town. The key I never took back, the one I now wish I had. It was a Friday morning. Derek had left for work. Lily was at school. And I was in the kitchen, hands trembling as I made coffee, knowing damn well I shouldn't have sent that text the night before. But I did. I told Ryan, let's stop hiding. So he came. And when he walked in, I didn't run. I didn't cry. I didn't scream, What are you doing here? I just stared at him, and he stared at me, and the silence said everything. He walked over slowly, placed his hand on my waist. I closed my eyes. Then we kissed. Software slow, sweet. The kind of kiss that breaks something, the kind of kiss that makes you forget you're wearing a wedding ring. I led him to the living room. We sat, talked, laughed. Then I laid on him like I belonged there. His arms wrapped around me, and for the first time in weeks, I didn't feel cold. Our clothes came off slowly. It wasn't like before, rough, rushed, breathless. This time, it was real, honest, dangerous. His lips moved over my shoulder like he was memorizing the story of my skin. We didn't speak. The room was quiet, except for the creak of the couch and the sound of my breathing when he kissed the inside of my thighs. Everything was slow, sensual, intense, but we kept it silent. Because if we gave it words, we'd admit what it was: betrayal, desire, love. Afterward, we stayed there, him holding me, both of us naked under the throw blanket. I felt guilty, but not for the reason you'd think, not for cheating, but for how much I loved it, for how right it felt. That was the sin I couldn't escape. I looked at the time. You should go. He nodded but didn't move. Then he said, I want more than just this. I sat up. Ryan, I know. I know you're married. I know you have a family, but I've loved you since college, and I think deep down, you've loved me too. I didn't answer, because he was right. That night, I was quieter than usual. Derek made dinner, his famous spicy shrimp pasta. Lily talked about her spelling test. It all felt normal. But inside me, a storm was brewing. Then came the knock. Not the doorbell. A knock. Hard. Urgent. Derek opened it, and there stood Ryan. Everything froze. Time, breath, thought. What the hell are you doing here? Derek asked, surprised. Ryan stepped inside. He looked furious, shaken, desperate. I need to talk to her, he said, pointing at me. Derek looked back at me, confused. Why does he need to talk to you? I stood up, voice shaking. Ryan, not here. Number here, he said, eyes burning. I'm done pretending. Pretending what? Derek asked. Somebody better explain something before I lose my mind. Ryan looked at me, then looked at Derek. And then he said it. I'm in love with your wife. The room exploded. Derek stepped back like he'd been punched in the gut. Lily froze in place, her eyes wide and scared. You what? I've been in love with her since before you two even met, Ryan said. And we've been together. Get out, Derek whispered. His voice wasn't loud, but it was lethal. Derek, I started. Get out, he roared, smashing a glass on the floor. You were cheating? With him? In this house? While I worked my ass off? Derek, please, let me explain. No, no, no. He turned, hands in his hair. I loved you. I trusted you. I gave you everything. And you give this to me? Lily began to cry, and that broke me. More than anything else, because the house wasn't just broken now, our child saw it crumble. Ryan backed out slowly, eyes on me the whole time. I didn't follow. Derek sank to the floor, shaking, weeping. I tried to touch him. He slapped my hand away. Don't. I didn't mean for it to happen. Don't you dare feed me that line, he hissed. You let it happen, again and again. You lied to my face, slept in my bed, smiled at my daughter, our daughter, and you had another man in your soul the whole time. I broke down, not because I got caught, but because I knew I had broken a man who didn't deserve it. That night, I slept on the couch. Derek locked the bedroom. Lily cried in her room. And me? I stared at the ceiling, listening to the sound of my own choices. It's been 3 months. 3 months since I destroyed the only man who ever truly loved me. 3 months since Ryan confessed and walked out of my life forever. 3 months since Lily stopped calling me mommy and started calling me her. That's what guilt does. It doesn't knock. It moves in. I live alone now. The house I once called home is gone. Derek filed for divorce. Fast, clean, no second chances. He won full custody of Lily. I didn't fight it. What kind of mother lets another man ruin her daughter's peace? I live in a small studio now. 1 bedroom, no pictures on the walls, no laughter, no toothbrush beside mine. Just me, and the echo of my choices. The night I left, Derek didn't speak a word to me. He just watched as I packed. And when I paused at the door, hoping for a whisper of, please stay, he said nothing. Only Lily spoke. From behind his legs, she peeked out, her small voice like glass breaking. Are you leaving forever? I crouched. I have to, baby. She blinked hard. Because of that man? I cried. She didn't. She just closed the door on me. That was the last door I heard close in that house. Ryan tried to reach out a few times. I didn't answer. What would I even say? We weren't love. We were fire in a dry forest. Hot, brief, destructive. He texted me once, I still love you. even if it all went wrong. I deleted it because some things don't need answers. Some pain needs space to breathe. I think of Derek every day, his laugh when he made stupid dad jokes, his quiet strength in the mornings, how he always waited till I fell asleep before turning off the light. He was good, too good for what I gave him, but I also think about why I strayed. Not to excuse myself, but to understand myself, because understanding is the only way forward. I felt lonely. Even with a perfect husband and a beautiful daughter, I felt unseen, like a ghost in a warm house. And Ryan? He saw the parts of me I buried, the wild, the young, the craved. But love without honor isn't love, it's addiction. And I overdosed. Sometimes I'd drive past Lily's school, hoping to catch a glimpse, just once, even from a distance. I watch her walk out, hand in hand with Derek, her hair braided, her lunchbox swinging, her world whole again. She looks happy, and that breaks me, but also saves me, because she deserves peace, even if I'm not part of it. One day, maybe years from now, she'll ask questions. And when she does, I'll tell her the truth that her mother made a terrible mistake, that love isn't measured by how fast your heart beats, but how gently it holds another's. That cheating isn't just about sex, it's about lies that grow roots and choke everything beautiful. That regret is a shadow that follows you, even in the light. And I'll tell her that her father was the greatest man I ever knew. Sometimes I dream of a second chance, not with Ryan, not even with Derek, but with myself, to be better, to deserve forgiveness, even if I never get it. And until that day, I keep my head low, my words soft, and my steps forward, because pain doesn't leave, but it does teach. And I am learning. Dear Vault Seekers, if this story touched you, if it made your chest tighten, your eyes water, your soul whisper, that could have been me, then don't just scroll. Subscribe, like, share. Help us push stories that matter, that break you, then put you back together with truth. Let's make Top Stories Vault the home of raw, real, viral fiction where pain isn't hidden but heard. Comment below. Would you forgive the narrator if you were Derek? Or if you were the narrator, would you tell your child the truth? Every voice counts. Every click helps us reach more broken hearts. And every subscriber, a new vault seeker in this journey of raw emotion. Thank you for being part of this story. See you in the next one that might hurt even more. Until then, Top Stories Vault. Real, raw, unforgettable.